Welcome to Prophet Talks. I'm Prophet. Today is February 15th, 2026. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and as usual, today we'll talk about all the developments in geopolitics and politics from last week. So it happened that the major ones were in Ukraine, and mainly Ukraine peace process, which is, in my opinion, gaining momentum. The second one was around Iran and this very dynamically changing situation there. And the last bit is on Asian elections, because both in Japan and Thailand we got very unexpected results, and I believe they deserve their own commentary. So, starting with Ukraine, I think outside of the fact that the negotiations are still ongoing, we'll have a meeting in Geneva next week on the 17th, I believe. The main rumor from this week was that the US is supposedly pressuring Zelensky to not only organize elections, but also organize a peace referendum, probably around ceding the territory, by May 15th. Zelensky denied this shortly after. That's why you see this spike here followed by a sharp downward move. The very same situation happened on the referendum market. The same spike, but the odds went a bit lower. But anyway, it all ties very nicely because previously we've got the rumors that Trump is looking to finish this peace process by June. And it makes sense. Trump needs to focus on the midterms. He needs to help the senators, the representatives to actually get their positions. He needs them, so especially the senators, so he can continue implementing his agenda without the fear of, for example, impeachment. So it makes sense that from the second half of the year, he really wants to focus there. He's supposedly promised to be on rallies every week, to travel the country. And obviously, for a sitting president that is also his age, it will be extremely taxing. So we can only imagine that he won't really have time to focus on foreign policy as much as he did recently. So, to give a few comments about the price movement here, of course, nothing here is financial advice. It never is. You need to do your own research because investing on prediction markets is risky. But what I believe here is that the retractment that we see here back to the levels we saw before the rumor was a bit too much. I do believe that there is some basis in these rumors. I do believe that there is momentum, so I think we should have stayed a bit higher, probably somewhere around the 30s. And the same can be said about the referendum market. But what I see from analyzing these markets is that they essentially have the same odds as the market on a ceasefire by the same date. And it also makes sense because for any of the two to actually happen, so be it elections or a peace referendum, you would need some kind of a ceasefire, because otherwise it's easy to say that the elections or the referendums can be rigged, are not fair, and generally are not indicative of what the society wants, which is the key to everything, right? So I imagine that whatever is happening right now, if it succeeds, it should be a simple ceasefire, for example, a 30, 60 days ceasefire that allows for election and referendum, and these will be the basis of the future peace deal. So we will get like a phased deal that we got, for example, in Gaza. The first phase will be a temporary ceasefire to conduct referendum and elections, and if both are successful, then the second phase can be implemented, in which the territorial issues are approved, and the new or the same president elected again with a new parliament can ratify the second phase of the agreement. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense from my perspective. That makes sense from Putin's perspective, because he would want the peace agreement to be signed by the new government, because otherwise he just risks that Ukraine conducts election after the peace. The new president and parliament are elected, and they say that the deal is void. That's the risk from Putin's point of view. So I expect this kind of phased approach here as well. But it also makes sense from any other perspective, because, for example, from Ukraine's perspective, if they don't really want the peace, for example, because Europe is promising to keep supporting them, then they can secure a month or 2 month ceasefire, and then just rig the referendum process, for example, and have no peace. There are many possibilities for each party to gain what they want. I think that's the path forward. And it also seems that traders do believe that we need a ceasefire to conduct either election or a referendum. So that's the commentary from my side. I will have a lot more to say next week when I finish my article on Ukraine with scenarios and a proper thesis. Now I'm more in a research phase, but that's what I'm seeing on the ground. That's what makes sense to me at the moment. And I do think we will hear a lot more in the coming weeks about how this phased deal may look like, what is the exact shape, what are the concessions on both sides, and what does Russia gain from actually engaging in such an agreement. Moving next, we've got Iran. And the news of the week, besides that we have a second round of talks scheduled in Geneva as well on the 17th, is that there is a second aircraft carrier going to Iran. This is the USS Ford, moving from Venezuela back to CENTCOM. It will take anywhere between probably 10 and 15 days for her to arrive at position. So nothing should happen between now and end of February, more or less. And this also hinges on how the negotiation goes. But anyway, we clearly see that the announcement of the Ford moving, which went somewhere at the beginning of the week, really pushed the price down on ES from close to 26 cents at the beginning of the week to 12 cents that we got now. I still do think that's a bit high. I think pretty much everyone in the region wants a deal versus a confrontation. We cannot really say that either US or Turkey or Saudi Arabia want a kinetic strike. US has election this year, and military engagements in election year are not exactly great. All the other regional powers, they pretty much want a new equilibrium to emerge, rather than to see a war in Iran, for example, or a regime change operation that will destabilize the region even further. And the only actor that actually wants a kinetic action, in my opinion, is Israel, because for them the political goal is to completely eliminate Iran, right? As a mortal enemies, that's usually the case. But no one else actually wants that. The US wants stability and wants a deal to make that happen, because it's the easiest, no American blood loss, no costs, etc., etc. Regional partners also want a deal because they just want to develop in peace versus having yet another country after Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. Pretty much every major country in the region was destabilized at some point outside of Iran. And I bet that all of the powers really want that to stop. They want to develop in peace. They want to develop Syria, use the opportunities there and also in Gaza to grow, to get richer, to get better. And another regional war would pretty much prevent that. So I do believe a lot of what we hear in the media is actually coming from Israel. Like I said, no shocker, because they're usually the origin of the news and the leaks is either Israeli press or it's Axios, which is also kind of Israel because of Barak Ravid. So yeah, my conclusion is that a lot of the narratives we see peddled in the media are Israeli narratives. They want the strike, so they want to maintain that there is pressure. They want to maintain that the negotiations are difficult. And that's the reality. And on the other hand, we've got the silent majority that wants the deal and most likely is talking on a daily basis in the back channels to make sure that no rash action is taken. So these are my 2 cents on Iran. If you want to read more, I also got a deep dive on Iran that was published last week. It was the update to the original one, where I also present my rationale on how a deal may look like and if it's even possible, because like there is a difference. Everyone may want a deal, but the deal might not be possible. So there in my article I explore it in more detail, but now as a commentary, I do think that everyone except Israel wants a deal versus kinetic engagement, and because of that, we should see a real effort to make the deal. Simple as that. So that's it on Iran. And the last topic of this week are elections in Asia. The first one is Japan, and Japan is extremely interesting because uh, the context here is that Takaichi Sanae became prime minister recently. She had a minority government, so it was very difficult for her to rule. But initially, she managed to secure some early wins, and her approval rating went way up. It was also connected to some foreign policy choices, especially around strong posture towards China and possibility to defend Taiwan. People really liked it. She gained a lot in the ratings, so she decided to do a snap election, probably to gain a majority government. But I don't think even she suspected that it is possible to get a supermajority. And supermajority here means that now LDP with Takaichi can change the constitution unilaterally without any other party's support. So I think it's a very interesting development. I don't think it happened recently in any developed country that a single party held a supermajority. So I do believe that we will hear a lot of interesting news from Japan, from LDP, from Takaichi Sanae, that will try to really change Japan, really progress forward, change a lot of laws, maybe even change the constitution if it's even necessary, and definitely working along Trump to counter China, well, mainly China in the region. So I suspect we'll see a lot of cooperation, a lot of development in the military sectors, strong posturing from Japan, and generally a very close collaboration between the allies, which is good if you live anywhere in Team West, right? And moving to the very last topic, it's Thailand. It also had elections last week. You probably know the context a bit better here because last year the previous prime minister was ousted from the post for supposedly something akin to a treason, because she was talking with a Cambodian leader and she hated on the Thai military, which is kind of sacred in the country. So she was ousted from her position. Her rival took the prime minister job. He was a prime minister for a month or so and then ordered snap elections. And then everyone suspected it will go exactly the same as all the elections before. So the People's Party, which is the incarnation of Move Forward Party, will win, but then it won't be able to form a government because the Constitutional Court wouldn't allow it. So we'll get another volatile period in Thai politics. This was the case in the last two elections because Move Forward Party, so the People's Party now, wanted to do a lot of reforms, mainly targeted at challenging the monarchy and the military and the power they hold in the country. They wanted to do sweeping reforms of several legislations around the power of the monarchy and the power of the military. So while people loved it, obviously the deep state here hated it because it's packed with military and monarchy representatives. Both times they pretty much ordered the party to disband when it wanted to form a government. So this election, the People's Party supposedly softened the message a bit. They really wanted to make sure that they will be able to form some kind of a government, even if it's a minority government. But it turns out that when you don't show the people that they can have more power, they don't want to vote for you. So in a very surprising turn of events, in Thailand, the People's Party actually didn't win the election. It was the other party. I won't even try to pronounce it. It's the party of the last prime minister, so he is most likely to be the new prime minister after all the formalities are here. We should expect that the coalition is ready, that the plan is ready. The party is more aligned with the government. Oh, sorry, not the government, but the military and the monarchy. So, contrary to the last elections, we should see a pretty peaceful period when it comes to Thai politics, but not exactly one where we can see a lot of reforms that a lot of people in the country supposedly believe we should. I don't know, I'm not Thai, but Thailand is definitely falling a bit behind when it comes to economic development versus their neighbors. Like Vietnam is growing like crazy, and there is a risk that Thailand may fall a bit behind. We'll see in the coming years. I'm no expert here when it comes to Thai economy, so maybe one day I'll research it. But otherwise, that's all that I wanted to speak about. Definitely an interesting week. Maybe not as wild as what we've seen back in January, but definitely a one that that's for the books. So see you next week. Please make sure to subscribe, to like the video if you like it. Leave a comment if there's anything you agree or disagree with, or if there is something you would like for me to discuss next week. Also, make sure to follow me on X and Prophet Floor Notes, and make sure to subscribe on Substack on prophetnotes.com so you don't miss the Ukraine deep dive next week. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.